I do have a question. In Rebecca, we go all the way through it. The break comes right after that first time through?
Yeah.
Just innocent.
You look like you were going to play another one.
No, but he's
Why would I do that?
It's the old...
The first concert that we did was a house concert here in this very room. We were here, and our friends were there, and we had the subtitles on the wall, and it was really exciting because it was also our first concert ever with subtitles. And it was so exhilarating to have people understand what we were singing for once.
So we feel these house concerts are so important, number one, to give the local musicians a chance to perform and a chance for the community to be able to experience the music.
Miasteczko będzie puste, jest i rynek tej wyścinie. Na rynku pierwszy głos bił Jan Wasserstein.
Cabaret Warsaw was a joint project. It just fell into place because I was doing research on the cabaret that was developing in interwar Warsaw when Poland had regained its independence. So I was studying that. Meanwhile, Jane was working on Yiddish songs, and we had been doing some Polish songs and Yiddish songs in our sets anyway. When Jane and I get together, we talk nonstop about what we're working on, and I said, "This is what I'm working on, listen to me." And Jane says, well, and I would come up with all of these things.
Well, because she was talking about music and we're musicians, we decided to make a CD, and that's when I said, well, if we're going to make a CD, I want half of it to be in Yiddish because I don't speak any Polish.
And since I don't read Yiddish, and Jane reads Yiddish fluently, then I could do the Polish language side, and Jane could do the Yiddish language side. So it fused together really well. Polish cabaret was seen as upper class or upper middle class entertainment, and the audience for the Polish language cabaret was both acculturated Jews who understood Polish and liberal Christians who wanted to come and see this fabulous new city entertainment. So you'd have this topical satire about what was going on, what was the latest fashion. And so people went to the cabaret because they would get first-class entertainment that was doing things that were a little informal and that were very topical and really funny.
Jews in Warsaw who spoke Yiddish wanted to have their own version of the cabaret that they saw, for instance, at Qui Pro Quo, which was one of the most famous Polish language cabarets. One of the people who lived exactly as you just described, an acculturated Jew from a family that would prefer not to have been thought of as Jewish, but would have preferred to have been thought of as merely Polish. Her name was Lolia Cederboim, and she went off to perform at Qui Pro Quo, which her parents didn't like very much, and there she met a comedian. He persuaded her to learn Yiddish so that the two of them could go off and basically create their own form of Qui Pro Quo. So that was 1926, and that was the beginning of theater, and most of the people who performed in those theaters had come from a very different background than the people in the Polish language cabaret. Because so much of Yiddish culture of the cities was exterminated with the Jews who were sent off.
Trying to assemble any kind of corpus of texts or recordings of texts was also a real deal because Warsaw was destroyed at the end of in 1944 when the Warsaw Uprising happened. So 80% of the city was destroyed.
Their interests and their concerns died with them. And people didn't really want to hear about Jews who were having a frothy time and dancing the Charleston and smoking cigarettes. The songs that were actually popular in Warsaw in Yiddish between the wars were very cosmopolitan songs. They wrote songs about masquerade balls. Now, after the Holocaust, who was going to sing a song about masquerade balls? I think enough time has gone by now that we should be able to celebrate what was joyous and what was trivial and what was cosmopolitan and what was fizzy and what was irreverent in Yiddish culture, because that's humanity.
Cabaret music of the 20s and 30s was being preserved by Polish citizens who were already in exile after World War II. Luckily, many of these are recorded, and they're recorded and they've been posted on YouTube, and so we hear them there.
Beth sends me her Polish songs that she finds on YouTube and other places, and I will write them out, I'll transcribe them. Occasionally, we find written out sheet music that was published at the time. Most of the songs that I found from the Yiddish side came from a collection of 7 little tiny booklets that were published by a book and record seller named Itzik Shalonik, who lived in Warsaw. And they started in 1929, and the last one I found was in 1934.
One of the reasons I really was interested in doing Cabaret Warsaw and doing this project and doing both Yiddish language and Polish language stuff is there's this whole corpus of songs that are wonderful in the Polish language. So it's great to be able to resurrect them and play them and have people hear them, because they are the equivalent to what's going on in the States at the same time. It's one thing to write a book or to write an article and to get people to pay attention to that. And in some ways, it's always an uphill battle to say popular culture was really meaningful. But performing it is so immediately gratifying. And if we can push that to an audience that doesn't know Polish, doesn't know Yiddish, and they clap loudly and they really enjoyed the song, then that's it. That's the magic.
Jane's research into the Yiddish music of the era continues today. Since the release of the original CD, she has recorded 3 more discs of music from the songbooks she found.